Welcome to video 4 of this 5-part video series of our live workshop with one of Mixpanel's leading experts, Merveen Pandoo. Quick recap of our previous videos. In video 1, Merveen walked us through the analytics framework where we mapped out a tracking plan across the funnel. In video 2, we set out to install the Mixpanel SDK into our Framer site to start tracking all of the data. In video 3, we had a dedicated troubleshooting session alongside our lead engineer, Pandoo. And in this video, we go through setting up events in our Framer site to track button clicks and user identity via email capture. Now, this was super challenging as Blitzit has a 2-part email capture funnel. You see, we first capture emails on a landing page to collect leads before pushing them to download the app on a dedicated download page. Now, those users that actually proceed to download the app and install it have to create an account, thereby giving their email once again. Now, the problem with this is that we can't rely on our users to give us the same email twice, right? So for this, we really had to rely on our lead engineer Mandoo's development skills to make sure that user identity management was working properly and that we're not getting any sort of data leaks or duplicate user identities between our website and application. Something to note here is prior to this entire workshop, Mandoo actually got Mixpanel already working within our application. And the reason we can actually get Mixpanel in our application is because our app is built on Electron, which is sort of a Chromium engine. So it kind of works like a browser-based app. So we already got some rich data that we're tracking within our application. And in here, we had to rely on Mandoo because that had to actually be coded within the application level. Whereas of course, Framer being a no-code tool, we can do the setup ourselves for the most part. Now, another thing to note is Mandoo also set up our affiliate system prior to this workshop using Rewardful. And here we have to use a tracking code that tracks leads that comes through our affiliate links from our website, capturing that email, and again, making sure there's no data leak from the website to the application download and the second sign up on our application when creating an account. To overcome this, Mandoo set up a very clever implementation where as soon as a user signs up and creates an account on our application, we fire up another browser, which pushes the new email data into our browser so that we can track it via the affiliate tracking code. Now, of course, this browser page appears to the user as a success page, thanking them for downloading and installing the application. From there, the user can click a button on the page and return back to the app. But now we've actually closed the loop and acquired the updated email if they happen to change it, and we know we got the correct data. So now we can actually link the user identity from the app to the website via the same Rewardful tracking code. So in this video, we actually go through that really technical setup where Mandoo actually customizes the Rewardful tracking code within our Framer site to include the Mixpanel tracking elements as well to make sure that user identity management is fixed and that we're not getting any of that data leak or duplicate user identities during the process. I know this is super complex stuff, but if you have a similar use case to us, then we'd love to hear it in the comments. Now, just before we get started, if you're new to this channel, my name's Omar Farouk, designer turned startup founder, and this channel I share my journey building tech startups from scratch and trying my best to achieve breakthrough growth. So if you're interested in all of this stuff, then smash that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Now let's jump into video 4 where we set up custom code overrides within our Framer site to set up events so that we can track button clicks and user identity management.
All right, let's go and actually go ahead and track a button. I want to make sure the button is working fine.
Yeah, sure, let's do that.
Good.
Should we head over back to Figma?
Yep, let's go back to Figma. So this is how you would track an event in Framer. Within your site, you would select the element that you want to track, the button that you want to track on the bottom right. You can then go into code override and create a new file to track that button. And within the FigJam, I've shared the code that would essentially track a button. So we can pick a button and then just copy that code and create a file for that button.
Great, let's try that. So I'm going to go over to Framer. We're going back to the canvas. We're going to create a custom override, right? That's what we're doing now.
And then we can do that with the button itself, I believe.
Yeah.
You select, let's say, the try Blitzit now.
What should we call the code override? Should we just call it Mixpanel?
You can do it button click or button track.
So let's make it so Mixpanel button click override, right?
Yeah.
It's a new override from what I understand, right? And so we're doing create. That will take us to this code viewer. And I'm assuming I had to replace all this code with what you just gave me, right?
Yeah.
Great. So we've just done that. We're now going to head back to home, and I'm assuming we're going to take, which button should we use? Should we use the one on the nav bar?
Let's do the one that's below the text. When life gets overwhelming, just blitz it.
Okay, great. So I'm selecting that button. And what I'm going to do is head over to code overrides, click the plus icon, find this new override, which is this one that I created earlier, Mixpanel button click, selecting that. And we're going to choose track button click, which is the override that was already in the code. Great. So I've added that, Merv.
Umar, after Mixpanel project token, you have to add the comma. I just checked it right now in the console.
Where's that?
After Mixpanel token, add comma.
Yeah?
Yes, there is a syntax error. I just checked it right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Then, in that case, let's maybe add full URL again, because that was the problem.
So can you guys remind me, is it full URL with parentheses?
True. Yeah, with the
Like
quotes.
that?
Yes, that's it. Yes.
Cool. Now save, publish, and
All right.
again, make sure.
Drum roll. Great.
Yep.
Should I click the button?
Yep.
Clicked it a couple of times. Refreshed and clicked it again.
All right. Let's go into this page.
Yay! Try blitz it now. Way!
Click on the distinct ID. If you click on the distinct ID value, we'll go into your profile. And we just wanted to take a look at the actual button. So if you click on the clickable distinct ID value in blue,
That
I
one?
will take us to the profile. Yep,
8 page views as well.
all your page views.
So these are all the refreshes. Do you reckon we're also tracking, maybe it fixed itself, that other issue that we were looking at?
It could well be.
Should we give that a go quickly?
Yep, there we go.
Let's go Help Center, switch through pages, go back to blog, switch through articles, and this one, and maybe this article with Notion and cron acquisition. Great. Let's head to Mixpanel.
On my
Events.
side, it's looking good. I can see the event page.
Hey.
The moment we click on that, the refresh.
Yeah, I want to go to the specific. Yeah, so Ealing, is that me? Ealing? Am I? No, I'm not Ealing. I'm Dagenham. So yeah, it'll be this one, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, so yeah, we're getting it. Redefining productivity, which is this article. Yep, that was the last blog I was on.
So
Looks like it's tracking.
we have fixed it.
Yeah,
We've pretty much done the implementation. We've
Great.
tracked page view. We've tracked button click. Now, the only thing is we haven't added identity management just yet, because we want to track also the email that you're using, because I'm just thinking if we can do that quickly within 10 minutes. Let me double check. Actually, let's go into Framer and the page where you have app downloaded and add it as a button click.
Okay, so
Show users how this event would arrive.
should I go to the download page directly, or am I going? What are we adding tracking on the email capture form, which is this one, which is a component? Which one do you want to look at?
Okay, so we could do it with both get Mac OS app and get Windows app. So let's have it on.
So this is not a successful download as of yet.
Yes.
Just so you're aware. So this is email capture, and it doesn't actually matter which one they select. We are just getting data in our data storage that, okay, they've been intentional about wanting the Windows and Mac OS. It's just for our information more than for them. But they get sent to the same page, which is the download page, and this is where they download the apps.
Yep. I mean, it shouldn't take too long. Let's go ahead and track all those buttons. So we have the first two buttons, which takes
So
it
I'll
there.
go straight to the first thing you want me to do is go to the, do I go to the navbar one, or do I go to, skip the navbar and go to this one?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I'm doing primary. How's this set up again? Yeah, this is another component. And yeah, this is the component I'm looking for. So we got mobile and we got desktop. It should transfer over. So I'm adding that event, right? So again, code overrides, Mixpanel button click, track button. Same thing for this one. Code overrides, Mixpanel button click, track button. Let's just see if it transferred over to our, yep, it's also working on the mobile button. Then there's a form, which is a lead capture form, which we don't have access directly to this button, Merv, because it's a special component. So, but I have code override for the entire form and the button collectively.
Okay, so it could be that we then, I'm wondering what would happen if we have the same code override for that, but because the user would technically do a click.
So what happens here is they click. Okay, that's not working. I don't know why that's not working over there. That's a bad thing. I got to check that out. Yeah, so from here, if I click this is a second CTA, basically email capture, and then this is the final click, and then it takes you to the download page. And I think as well we have also captured the email on the URL string over here as the parameter. The email, sorry, yeah, in the URL.
Okay, that's fine. So what I thought we could do is when the user lands on this page, then we would identify the user by calling Mixpanel identify. And then when the user clicks on one of those buttons, we would track the buttons that we see there. It might not be critical to capture that previous step where the user inputs their email and click on it, because we know that they've landed on that page with email already registered. All right. So what we might want to do is create another code override. Can you have multiple code overrides within a single page?
Yeah, I think you can as many as you like, as far as I'm. Yeah.
Let's do the identity management code override. If you go to the Figma.
Yeah. We go to assets, and I'll just quickly create it so it's ready for me to paste. Yep. New override, and I'm going to call this one
Mixpanel identify.
Identify. Which one am I pasting? I'm going to, this one, right?
This one here.
Great, gonna paste that and gonna select all this code, delete it, paste it. Bob's your uncle. We should have, now, where am I going to apply that?
We go back to the last page the user sees before downloading.
Download page?
Yep, exactly. So there we would want to have one override for identity management, which is the identify code override we've just added. And also we want to track each one of those three buttons. So running the track button click on each of those three buttons.
But where does the identify one go on? The entire page? Or?
Would be when the page, the entire page, when the page loads, essentially.
Does it matter which element I put it on? Because I've already got a code override in the entire page that Manju set this up for our Rewardful code override to capture, to track that. It
doesn't really matter as long as it loads, because that code is for onload.
Okay, so let me add it on this little element over here. And I will go to Mixpanel identify and do track page load. That's done. Now you also want button tracks on these, right?
Exactly, there's three buttons.
Let's do that very quickly. So Mixpanel button click, track button, Mixpanel. Oh, wait a minute, what happened there? Oh yeah, Mixpanel button click, track button, and Mixpanel button click and track button.
Right, now you can save it, publish, and we go through that flow. We'll have a look at our events, and then I'll show you quickly. You can create a template. The template will auto-populate, and then our viewers can then go into the template and drill into each report to understand what they mean. So whilst we took a little break, I think we updated the code. So now we'll go ahead and then just add the updated button click code into our website. Let's go ahead and copy the code for tracking the button click. We'll go into the the override file, and then just update the code to the new code. That should do the trick.
Okay, so do I need any more codes from here, or am I just using the same?
No, we'll just use the same for now.
But we've already got an override there, right? So do we need to create a new one, you say?
Nope, so we're just going to edit it with the new code. So if you go under assets, and you should be able to override it there.
Oh, okay, so you updated the code on the for the override, specific for the button click.
Exactly.
Great. Okay, so I'm going here. I'm going to go to tracking button, copying this one, right? And pasting that right here.
Exactly. The only change I made now, I've added click within the name of the event, so we know that this is a user action. This is just to make the code foolproof for the future, so that if there is a scroll, if there is a view, if there is any other actions that we want to track, then we can specify that within the code, and it's going to be easier to do that. But for now, that looks good. We can go ahead.
I'm curious, one thing, just for our audience watching in, are these codes readily available? Because I know you customize this for our use case. Is this all readily available in Mixpanel's docs?
More or less. So there are example codes for JavaScript in general. However, I have fully customized the code for Framer to work with Framer. We'll probably publish this in a guide just for Framer users, so that they can refer to the code that would fit Framer. They don't need to figure out, go over the mistakes that we did using, generic code available out there.
Guys, just as for your information, those of you guys who are watching, of course, a lot of this can seem technical, and a lot of documentation is available on Mixpanel, as Merv just pointed out. But however, if you do need an extra hand, Merv will be available. In fact, we're going to drop his contact details to potentially book him for consulting work for this, and he can help you out.
Absolutely.
Great. So do you want to continue, Merv, from here, what we're doing next?
Now we've updated the button code. The next thing to update is the identity management flow. Just to give everyone a bit of context, what we're looking at here is the identified function, or the identify function, in the SDK. What this does is it connects the Mixpanel anonymous identifier that gets generated when a user first lands on the website. We don't know who this user is, so all their events would be connected to one anonymous identifier. But the moment the user's identified, that then connects your database to other sources, because you now know who they are. You've assigned a unique identifier to that user. The identified function of the SDK just connects the anonymous ID with the identified ID. This way you can have your pre-login flow, post-login flow. If you have data from your data warehouse, from your database, everything can then get connected within Mixpanel. And that's what do not. Awesome. So if you go back to Figma, I'll just show you which code to copy. So under identity management, what this code there is doing, essentially, it's saying that when the page loads, or when that component loads, to run mixpanel.identify with the email that you're capturing. With Blitzit, we are capturing email address and storing that within local storage as blitz-ref-email. That's the value I'm using to grab. But for other websites, you might be storing it under a different value. So just to bear in mind that you need to understand how you're storing the email address on the user's browser or local storage, and then capturing that key in order to do that. And that would then be used as a parameter within the identify function.
Brilliant. That makes sense. So we're going to be pasting this on a page level in that case.
Correct. The way we did it with the, so we already have it there because we used it.
We just have to replace the code. I think I left it on this component here, this one. So Mixpanel identify track, I can just go to the assets and.
So the code itself hasn't changed. It's still the same code that we use.
Same code. Okay.
The only thing is the user journey or the user flow. For some reason, it worked when we clicked on Mac OS, but for some reason, it didn't work when we clicked on Windows. I'm just wondering if there's like two different flows there that leads the user to this page.
Let's have a look. So maybe it could be because the code override didn't transfer over correctly, and that could be the case. So let's just see, because if I hold this, do we add the, so first, I think we did add the code override over here. So I see a code override for both the macOS button, and I see it also for the Windows.
So we're tracking those two buttons.
Likewise, I see it for these mobile versions too. So
Yeah.
I do see the track button. Click there.
That's perfect. So we're tracking those buttons. The next stage is for the identify code override to run the user lens onto the next page.
Which is this one here, right? Yeah.
And we have Mixpanel identify on page load that's running.
Yeah.
But
I have the code overrides on these buttons too for Mixpanel button click events right here. And then finally, I've got one, the track page load override on this component. So do you feel like we should move it, or?
We can actually maybe have the Mixpanel.identify the track page load on a different component. That way we have two separate components running it. It won't cause a problem, but it just maybe makes sure that whether the user clicks on Windows or Mac OS, we're running it on both.
Okay, so let me just double.
It's Mixpanel.
So I have Mixpanel identify and track page load. I've added on this whole frame over here now.
Correct. Perfect. Now, great. We can go ahead and update and publish.
Publish over here. It says, let me just look at the optimization issues that come up, because maybe that has something to do with the what we're facing with the Windows issue.
Let's have a look. It's definitely, important to make sure that it's nothing broken
Pages
there.
that failed to optimize. It is the download page, looks like. One of your code files crashed while rendering on the server, likely because it's reading something from window or document. Type error. Cannot set properties undefined. Setting on load. This is where, Manju, are you tuned in, brother?
Yes, actually the issue is that right now, like whatever we are adding the window load event, I think it is slow. It is working on component level, like after the page is loaded, right? So
Yes.
I think that case it is being crashed actually. But one thing we can do is for identify, basically we're capturing the email, right? So one thing we can do is we can add the same code within the lead capture where we are saving the email to the local storage. So we can do there, because even when we click on button click, actually email is not captured, because on button click, it is actually basically like initially button click, it is opening the form. Then after that, it is being redirected actually. So the redirection which we are doing, I think we can do the same code within the lead capture. This one, the where I am setting on local storage.
Okay, so let me try do that, dude. So I'll go to home.
Yeah, you can open the same code override right now we have. So I mean the lead capture override. Can you go into the lead capture override in the assets?
The lead capture override, this one over here. This one.
Yeah, the lead. No, not that. The one which we added, the Mixpanel identify one.
That one. Okay.
Yes, in this one, I think we can copy from Mixpanel identify user email. From there to the next Mixpanel. Like basically, what is the line? From line 8 to 14. After if statement. Yes. From line 8 to 14. Yeah. Below, yes. Copy this one. So this one, yeah. Can you go into the lead capture rewardful? The same file, lead capture rewardful. Yes.
This one here, right?
Yes. Here, I think. Yeah. Can you scroll below? Scroll top little bit up. So you can see the API data. Where is it? I think line number. API data. Yeah, we can add it after line number 73. After line number 73, we can add it.
After this line here?
Yes, yes. You can enter and then add it. Like instead of email, what is the email? Like you can copy the same code from line 69, where we are getting search param get email.
So what I do now? So go to.
No. Yeah, line number 69. Is it?
Yeah, this
where,
one.
Yeah, that one. Yes, that search get email. Yeah, copy that and then paste it instead of user email.
Over here?
Yes, there. I mean, remove the comma, extra comma. Yeah, same thing on the top above.
This one?
No, below, like where we have user email on the top, like before this line. Yeah, even here and also before this line.
Yeah, the one. Yeah, just replace user email with whatever.
Replace that with what again? What I pasted earlier?
Yeah, just again.
Yeah, remove the comma.
Remove the comma. Okay.
And
same thing on the line 79.
79. Okay, got it.
Yeah, now you can add the comma after user sign up because you have removed the comma. It is syntax.
Where's that
After
here?
user sign up, yes,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So this actually what it does is whenever basically whenever we get the get started or those things, I think it will be added. Okay, my bad actually. I think this is also fine. This is actually after onboarding. This code works after onboarding. We can copy the same code. Yeah, same whatever you did.
So up to
Scroll below.
here, right?
Yeah, scroll up. So this is an verify affiliate actually. Can you scroll up?
Yeah.
Capture email for lead. Yes, here's the one. You can see after line 14, you can paste the same. After line 14.
Here, right?
Yes. So now instead of all the search email param, you just replace it with email ID. On the top, you can see, right? Like in line 14, yes.
Yeah. So
Instead
take
of
this.
search get, yes, instead of search get, replace it with that because we already have the email ID in that.
So what am I replacing? Email ID with?
Search get email, entire line.
This thing,
Yes,
right?
yes, exactly.
Okay, and I'm pasting that here.
Yes.
Is that like that?
No. Like you have to do the opposite.
Oh, so basically take this.
Yes,
Wait a minute.
replace it with search.
God,
get.
man, I don't know how you guys do this thing. This is like so complex. Okay, so, and I'm pasting this bit.
Yeah. By the way, open parenthesis, yes. Open bracket.
From this parenthesis inside here.
Yep.
Yes.
And remove the extra bracket.
At the end.
Uh,
Okay.
Same
And
thing.
here, and here as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
And line 20.
Line 20.
Okay, I think this won't work actually. Let me see. Like download widget. Yeah, Omar, my bad actually. Can you cut paste all this one?
Okay.
Because this is actually saving local storage as your type. Can you scroll below? Scroll below,
So
save for
I just
referral.
undo this and go down. Yeah.
Yes. So this is actually triggered on download page. Yeah, here we can do it. Like after line 43.
To
After
copy
line
this
43.
first, or which one? What am I copying?
I mean, just scroll up because I think there will be different this one. Like yes.
Okay, so line 43.
After line 43, yes. Instead of all that, just replace with ref email. Because this is triggered, yeah, paste it here because this is triggered when we come to the download page after form.
What am I pasting? Email ID or no?
No, that 3 Mixpanel codes, identify codes. You can
Where's that?
copy from below. Yeah.
All this?
Yes, including the next line, line 80. Yeah.
Up to here, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going where now?
Yeah, here. So this is actually triggered on download page.
Okay,
so I think it will be
after 43.
Yes, paste it. So instead of search get email, just replace it with ref email, ref email. You can see on the top right in the line 40.
Line 40.
Yeah, ref email variable below that.
41.
This one? Oh yeah, that.
Okay, my bad. Actually, in my screen it is a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
replace it with search param get that. Yes.
Okay.
I mean entire thing up to the close parenthesis.
Oh, the entire thing. So all this, right?
Yeah, I mean, but open and close bracket, we need it.
So like that.
Yes. Identify. After inside the identify, it will only be ref code. I mean, from search param dot get until the email. No.
Yeah.
I mean, you did again, like you did opposite again.
Oh, okay. So you want me to take this and paste it over here?
Exactly.
Yikes. Okay. Oh wait. Inside the parentheses.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And now it should work.
Cool.
I mean, say same thing for the
and
other.
here as well.
Yes.
Here as well, and here as well.
So this actually does the same thing. Like initially, it will do on the when the user goes to download, and also while we redirect the user from the app, then also it identifies so that the tracking will be fine.
Perfect.
Right.
Can we remove the code that was at the bottom just so that we're not running it twice?
No. Actually, the bottom code is actually different function. It is verified only when it is onboarded. So that is the thing. Like it is like a 2 code override in the same file.
Okay. Perfect.
So this is kind of like a verification. Like let's say, as I told you, right? Like the users may sign up with different email, but on onboarding, we are actually redirect them back to browser. So there we have an email in the URL. So we are getting the email from the browser and then storing it back to verify the affiliate. Same thing we are doing here.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I want to give context to our audience watching because this might sound confusing to them.
Yes.
Just for everyone to understand what's going on here and why this is a bit more complicated than your usual use case is because when we go to Blitz's landing page, which is this one, we have two forms of signups that we just explained. Is that when a user comes in, they click try Blitz it now. We capture email here. Why are we capturing email here? For just best marketing practice. Best practices. We're trying to get more leads, right? Because we can't rely on people coming on the website and definitely downloading the app. We're too early stage as of a company to bank on that happening. We'd rather capture emails at this stage. So we're capturing that email, but we also can't guarantee whether or not the user will use the same email once they download the app, because from here, users download the app, they install Blitzit, which I've got over here, and then they sign up again. And so that's why it's a bit complicated. What Manju and Merveen's been trying to, of course, hack is the idea of getting those identifications correct, like the identifiers correct.
All right, so we have our, we're tracking our buttons, we have our identifier code running, so we're good. Now we can go ahead and test it and make sure we go the user journey from the moment they land on the landing page, they have their email, download, the app is working as expected.
Now that we've got the tracking in place,
Absolutely.
What's the next step? Yeah.
I will show you how easy it is to get your metrics in Mixpanel without even needing to understand how those reports work. We have a few essentially templates that you can use and get you going. Once we confirm the data is there, I'll take over and walk everyone through how to quickly create those dashboards within your project.
Brilliant. So let's do the quick confirmation piece, and then we'll move over to you. How do we figure out confirmation? What would you want me to do? Just test the sign up, or?
As we've saved and published our updates, we can then just go and test a standard sign up flow.
Okay, let's try that. So I'm gonna go publish.
One thing is that we have to remove that code override which we did earlier for the same thing, the user identify.
Yep. You can
Which is
just
where?
Yeah, we have to remove from the component.
From this, I did it twice. So here and here as well.
Yes.
Both, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you mentioned, because hopefully that actually fixes the optimization error on this specific page, because there was that issue that we're getting on Framer. Yeah, it looks fine. There's no optimization issues. So I'll go, and now that we published that, we'll not on Arc, we'll go on Chrome.
If you'd like, you can open an incognito window, and that way you will be a fully new user.
Let's try that. And do you want me to also sign up?
Yeah.
Great. So we've got fake email. I'm going to take that. This is what I'm going to sign up with. I'll use get macOS.
Before you do that, if you could view pages first, just so that we reproduce a standard flow. Let's say the
All right,
user.
let's do that. So go to Help Center, switch to articles,
and
let's go to affiliates. Actually, that's a section in a page, and then thing. Great.
Then,
done. So we're still on incognito. I'm going to click try now, get macOS, plant this email. I've already installed it. So
trigger, I think.
Yeah, so what I can do is just trigger it. So what I'll do is I'll sign out from here on my actual app, head over to sign out, use this new email, agree on the terms, head over here, and we should get an email. There we are. Where's that sign in button? Boom, Firebase. Now we're in the app. So notice how we went to the web for just a moment to actually trigger. So I think that's where we get that event. And yeah, this is where we get the event. So
Omar, one thing you can do is you can copy the URL and then paste it in the incognito, because that was the browser which we used.
Oh, right. So that's another issue. We lose the tracking because of the my default browser, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this has been opened now, which should be fine. And it's got the email there, as you guys can see. Doesn't really matter because I use the same email on both sign up and this.
Yeah,
So
identifier should connect to everything.
Perfect. Okay.
Different browser.
Right. Well, I'm in the app, and this is the onboarding of what Blitz looks like. We've done a bunch of stuff in the app. We'll head to Arc. What am I doing from here?
No, just refresh.
Okay, and when do you want to sort of take over?
Let's just make sure that everything looks good. Right, so
Yeah. Beautiful.
on that.
Should I click this?
Yep, go ahead.
Great.
Just want to see what we have there. Cool.
Wow,
So
this is so cool, man.
views, get macOS app, what are our page views, get macOS app click. We can see user signed up. Then you clicked on Windows app, you clicked on macOS Silicon app.
This is amazing. This is really powerful to know exactly what the user did prior to then. And Manju, you're tracking conversion in the app as well. From what you implemented, we'll know once this guy pays, like if this user was to pay, we'll know in Mixpanel too, right?
Yes, actually, like identify, I'm using as an user ID and then setting the email using people, actually, like a people object. So that we have to check. Like if that doesn't work, maybe we'll have to go back to identifying the user by email instead of user ID. Basically, the Firebase ID. So I think then it will be matching like accurately.
Correct. So for context for the viewers,
Yes.
within the app as well, your data needs to be set under the same identifier. Here we're using email, but it could be user ID, it could be any type of ID. But the identifier on the website and on the app needs to be the exact same when you call identifiers. Essentially, you need to identify the user on the web.
Yeah, and you get two sets of users if that's not the case.
Yes, because ultimately you would end up with two unique identifiers within Mixpanel, and Mixpanel would not know that those two are connected together.
Makes sense. And so that would require Manju to intervene, perhaps, to connect the dots there.
Yes. I mean, it's just a simple this one because right now we are identifying based on the Firebase ID, like basically user database ID. But we'll change it to the email, then it will be synced automatically.
So we have some app data coming through from Dagenham. So this is very likely to be Omar. And we can see here that the identifier is this value. Although Omar's email there, but because Omar's email hasn't been called in identify, we're calling this one. Essentially what we're going to do is use this value in identify, and then if you want to store this as another property, you can store that as the Firebase ID. It could be helpful if you want to then connect this data to some Firebase data as well. Having Firebase ID there, long-term planning could be good. But yeah, just make sure that the identifier, the email is called in identify, and then all those events would then appear under.
Just one question: is there a way where we can merge two different distinct identities into one?
There is. You have to do that via the API, though.
I see. Okay. So I mean, like if there is any, like let's say if there is some situation where the identifiers are different, because right now we are using based on the Firebase ID where there is already existing users. So we want to merge it.
If you can do mapping of ID1 and ID2, you can use this merge function and send that to the API. There is a way to do it. But yeah, as long as you can identify the pair of matching identifiers in Mixpanel, that will solve it.
Got it. Thanks.
And it's something that I can also help if we want to look at historical data, fix historical data. Happy to work with you and together.
Yeah, right now it is not, because we are just implementing it on the website. So I just for a future reference.
Yep, absolutely.
Fantastic. Right. So Merv, you happy with this?
I am. Everything looks great.